So the other day I came across a brand new navigation panel assembly, if you will, on eBay. So Fujitsu Ten factory seal. Whether they remanufacture it, whether this is new, doesn't really matter to me, because you can't buy these screens or the touch screens new anymore anywhere. And then typically, like the clock is a VFD display, so as they get older they get dimmer, and there's nothing you can really do about it other than replace it with another used one. And then obviously the touch screen, we'll see if this is more accurate than that one, if it's more responsive, if the screen is brighter, which it should be because it's brand new. It looks like there was like some kind of defect. I don't know if somebody hit this or nicked the climate button. There's a little nick in it, but that's probably why it was up for sale and not used for whatever it was supposed to be used for, or it sat on a shelf or whatever. The buttons you can pop off and swap, but I'm okay with it. It's fine. That way I can sell the old one and then kind of recoup the money on the new one. So it's going to be like a multi-part video showing you the new screen, what it looks like, because I have the Grom, so it's not like I have an aftermarket screen or navigation touch screen in there. And it wasn't that expensive anyway, so I kind of got a deal on it. So with that, we can talk about how to get this out of here, the best procedure, and everything else. So first thing, you will need to pull this little protector, or whatever you want to call it. It's like a little plug out of here. And what that's going to allow you to do is basically put the car into gear. You just push down in here, and then there's a little button, and you can move the car into whatever gear you want. So that's going to allow us to get everything out of here without turning the car on and then having the key in and yada yada yada. So the first thing that's got to come out is this bottom switch panel. Now I must also say, while you're taking this out, you might want to replace the bulbs in here, because each one of these switches have bulbs that go out. I mean, mine were out when I got the car, 220 some thousand miles. And if you have any of these out at night, you just replace the bulb. You have to take this all apart, and there's like a little bulb inside, and that's pretty much that. Same with these, the switch buttons, 3mm bulbs. This thing, I want to say there's screws under here. So Phillips, there's 3 Phillips screws under here. This is actually a pretty easy process compared to other Lexus vehicles, especially older ones that had a million screws, because screws were not an expense back in the day. Everything was screwed together. So we got 1, 2, and then there's one hidden kind of in the center. And let's see if we can find it. I've done this like 4 times already on this car, so it's not going to be that difficult. Also remember to put wood or something behind your tire, because I did this the other day and then the car was resting against the garage door because I forgot to chock the tire. Even though it's in gear, technically it's in low or 2 or whatever, it's still going to roll. So luckily the garage door was shut, otherwise my car would be in the road. Okay, 3 screws. This pulls out this whole front panel, I think, hopefully. There we go. This you can just leave plugged in, doesn't really matter. It's not vital to unplug that. And then we've got 2 10mm think they're 10 millimeter. 10 mil. Oh, so one's loose. Wow. Okay, that's weird. Must not tighten it. Got 10 millimeter bolt on the right, and a 10 millimeter bolt on the left. This holds the radio or stereo assembly and the 6-disc changer. Someone asked me if you can still use CDs when the Grom is enabled, and the answer is yes. Once you connect to the Grom, once your phone connects to it, then you can push disc and then play your CDs. At that point, the only thing the disc button does is enables streaming from your phone, music from your phone to the Grom, to the stereo. It doesn't shut off like the Android Auto interface. So FYI. This kind of wiggles out. There's just a bunch of tabs holding it. Once you get the bottom bolts out, and this you don't have to move either. And then the Grom, you can kind of see, you probably can't see, but there's a plug here that is part of the Grom interface. So that's how it intercepts like the audio and pumps it into the stereo system. So now we're done. There's no screws on the bottom for the nav, only behind the buttons here. So what I like to do, there's tabs on the top and the bottom of the passenger temp and the master temp. If you push a pry tool under here, this one just obviously came right out, but you'll see there's metal prongs, hopefully, right here on both sides, and then it pops out. This dash is kind of forgiving. It's not like the newer ones that melt, and if you like push on it, it'll be permanently disfigured. So I'm going to try to, again, this has been out before, but the concept is the same. You have to pry from the bottom and the top at the same time, ideally. Because if you get one on one side, you kind of have to, hold the progress, if that makes sense. So if you get this out a little, you need to get something in there to hold it while you work on that top one, just like that. And then it pops out. Now this is probably the hardest part of the whole thing. You've got 2 on each side, tiny Phillips head or 8 millimeter screws, and they like to fall out and disappear in the dash. So what I like to do is get a magnet, just a giant magnet here, and then start loosening it to almost the end, just enough so it doesn't fall out. Then get your magnet in there, and then twist counterclockwise with the magnet, and look at that, the screw comes out. You can install it the same way too, to like start the threads so the bolt doesn't disappear on you. And then this one, just gonna have to do this blind, I guess, because I don't want to walk around to the other side. I'm gonna pause the video and then get this one out, and I'll be back. Okay, so once you've got the 2 screws, 2 bolts on both sides removed, make sure these harnesses are out. Now this thing should kind of wiggle out of here. You can push from the back through the hole on left and right side, and then it should come right out because there's just tabs on the left and the right. So disconnect these wires. Don't forget the bottom wire down here that goes to the vents, that move the vents. That's the motor for the automatic vents. Here you'll see more of the Grom wiring. This goes to the unit, so it intercepts this entire cable here and then spits it back out into the unit. And there's 3 plugs total. However, there are 4 plugs on the unit. I don't know why only 3 are used, but that's how it is. Yeah, don't have anything much more to say about that. So now we will swap the units. We've got 4 Phillips screws. Very simple, just one in each corner here. And that's it. And I can show you too. That's better with that light like that. So you can see I had another video that I redid all the foam inside of these vents. Very important because I'm sure your LS and every other LS on the planet, this foam has disintegrated. And the problem is, if you have your vents closed, you're still going to feel air blowing out of here. And that defeats the purpose of, of having vents at all. So if your passenger is cold, they shut the vents, they're going to be mad because this is still blowing air, because Lexus decided to use foam, which disintegrated after 15 years or whatever, 10 years. So I have another video on that, with what foam to get, how to cut these out, but it seals it perfectly, just like factory new again. You can buy a new center vent, but that's like $500 just for that. And I think the side vents are $150 if they're even available anymore. I know some of the colors aren't. So honestly, like $5 in foam, you can fix these like new and have the vents that actually close correctly. So let me get these screws out, and then I'll put the new screen in and we'll give it a test and see what it looks like. Alright, so we got the new screen in. Plastic's coming off. We are back to 2001 here. And the screen is much clearer because it's obviously brand new. Let's see here. So I'm pushing disk so I can switch over to the Android Auto. And so the touch itself is super responsive. Like before, you really had to kind of push it a few times and mess with it, but it's very responsive here. So that is a big improvement already. I am liking it. I don't have anything on here I can show you. It does look more clear, crisp. If I want to do any factory settings, I got to push disk again, and then it'll get me back to the factory interface here. But like, for example, this is so quick to respond compared to the old one. Before, you had to like really push on it. Everything looks a little bit more clear compared to the old one, which is kind of almost fuzzy, if that makes any sense. It had like a fuzzy look to it. But this is super, super crisp and defined. It looks like, back in the 90s, MS-DOS and the Windows 95 kind of background. But, let's see. Yeah, let me grab my phone so we can mess with the maps and see how those look. So here we've got Waze, and this is, like I said, it's just much more responsive. It's easier to manipulate, easier to zoom in. You still have a little bit of the polygon effect just because of the resolution of the screen, but honestly that's not bad for 23, 24 years old. And obviously you can still see traffic density on here just fine as you're driving. You can see accidents, hazards, road hazards, police, all that sort of stuff. And how convenient is that, again, in 2001. So it's good, it works. The screen is new, obviously, and it's a good improvement. And then look at this, even like the clock and the temperature up here, those are so green and so crisp because they're new. Like, again, it's just like it's brand new. So I'm pretty excited about this because I get excited about stupid stuff like this. And let's make it the correct time, 5:27. Yeah. So it's literally like, going back in time and being able to buy a brand new navigation. So that's it. That's all I got for now. I know this isn't going to really help anybody because these screens aren't available anywhere, but at least you know how to take this out, put it back in, and then the Grom wiring, I kind of show a little bit about that. But if you do find stuff like this, it goes for anything on eBay. Like if you find brand new stuff for your 2001 vehicle or 1990 whatever, buy it. Like you can sell the old stuff, recoup some money, but you can never order the stuff from the dealer again. And you know, if you come across like vents on eBay or, you know, stuff that's in a box in a warehouse for 20 years, just buy it. Like quality of life goes up, and you know, while you're driving and messing with this and trying to call out your accidents or whatever, you can just say, oh, well, I got a brand new screen. It's tons easier just to manipulate, and it's crisper, brighter, and the buttons actually work. Because some so like the 04 to 06, those screens are available, replacement new, like the actual panel. But something this old, the older technology, especially the 98, 99, 2000 LS430 with the Navi, no way. Like there's no way you can get that stuff anymore. So if you have something that failed or went bad on it, you have to put in another used unit. But like I said, I watch for this kind of stuff all the time, and honestly, like I haven't seen this type of thing come up for sale in the last 10, 15, 20 years. Because I have certain part numbers that I save on eBay, and it sends me alerts when something new is listed, and you know, something like that pops up. Or if you're looking for a steering wheel or shifter knob or glove box, there's a lot of the LS460s have bad glove boxes and bad panels that melt. So if you put in the number on eBay, you can see when one pops up and then buy it and then sell the old one. So that's kind of it. My vents, I have to fix the left vent. There's something going on with it, and then I need a new instrument cluster bezel on this thing. One of the tabs is broken, but you can see I did the conversion to the white LED needles on this one from the red. If you want to make these blue, you can. If you want to make them green, whatever you want to do, it's possible. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. I can get you hooked up. But I am going to put this back together, get all the screws back in, tighten it up, and that's it for today.